Private company feeding us GMO foods, they wanting us trapped. My young boy just came home for a booting, that young nigga tapped. Can't be slipping when I'm puffing on a potent, silent but I stay strapped. Gave her wood, now she talking about family tree, you know it ain't that. Ain't got time for the bad bees, dog, I got money on mine. Watch my chain too long, had me nervous, I put money on your mind. The Cali be potent, that girl is a bogus, I can't risk my seed.
What's up, my ASSOs? You're probably like, what the hell is this guy talking about, ASSOs? Airsoft Special Ops is the hashtag I would like to use this year, so please like, share and subscribe and tell your airsoft friends about us. And even just like, I just want to say thank you to you guys, because we've been talking about this 100 subscriber thing. Let's not stop the push, and let's try and push for that 200/250 subscriber shit, because I noticed since we hit 100 every day, every so often you'll just get an extra subscriber. So let's just keep that push going, guys, help this channel growing. And to be honest, I will say this, hit 200 or 250 before summer for me, and I promise I will do a drop and review for about 10 exclusive guns that, to be honest, just hard to get hold of, because one of my guys said he basically sent me over some pictures and was like, bro, can you find these anywhere? And I was like, nah bro, I literally been looking for weeks for some of these guns that you have. So he basically said he will either sell them to me or allow me to utilize them on the channel. So you guys will see a lot of that stuff coming up. So basically help me get them subscribers up, man. Let's keep growing, But today I wanted to basically talk about this bad boy. For those of you who don't know what this is a G36. Quite a few different companies do this gun. It's actually a lovely little rifle. Straight off the top, if you're looking for something that has a Gen 3 gearbox stock, you want to probably pick up one of these bad boys, because I have friends who have turned these into DMRs or sniper rifles just because they've changed a barrel length, a spring, and maybe a hop up at most. You don't even have to change the hop up, because the hop up in this is pretty decent. Like, it is pretty decent. Straight off the top, what can I say? It is a gun that does, and gun safety always, people. I do have glasses on. I don't have gloves on today, but it's because there's no need in it. None of the mags are loaded, and we won't be shooting any BBs out of this. I done a little testing shooting video earlier, so I'll let you hear it fire, and we'll talk FPSs, because I did do a couple shots, and I noticed that the constant FPS I was getting stuck around 2 specific points, so I'll talk over those later. So straight off the top, this one is made by ASG. It's called a G36, like I said before. It calibers in 6mm BBs. You do tend to have like a little cutout section here. Quite a few different companies do it. I remember one of my boys, the guy who originally told me about this gun, big up Gary, he had a WE version of this, so I've seen this exact gun, and to be honest, I feel like they're all replicas. I feel like any company who makes this gun, there will be a few differentiations depending on what size the gun is, because I've seen smaller ones and bigger ones, and sometimes the internals are a bit different because obviously the size difference. But the ones that come in this framework that you see in front of me, which is just the standard one, in full polymer body, because I think the only thing on it metal is obviously bolts, selector switch, and then obviously things like your screws and stuff, because there isn't much metal on this. Most of it is polymer, and then I think it's like the outer rail, the outer barrel, and apart from that, everything else is polymer, if I'm correct. Couple little bits like the stock button and stuff like that are metal as well, but the majority of the gun is polymer. But straight off the top, what can I say about it? It's a beautiful gun, it's a decent weight. Stuff like that can be found online. I can put it in specifications if you guys want it. For me, straight off the top, I found this gun a nice weight, because I like to hold a rifle that you know that you're holding something. I've come across rifles that, yeah, they're beautiful rifles, but they're so light that you know they're toys, whereas I feel like with this, it's a nice enough size, it's light enough that you can run around with it for a whole day and not feel like you're dying, as well as heavy enough to let you know, okay, I'm training with a rifle type gun. So yeah, straight things off the top to show anyone is obviously you have your selector switch, which is here, safe, semi, auto. It does have a function where you turn it somewhere roughly about here, just below safe, and it basically de-sets the spring, so it removes that tension in your spring, which I find is pretty cool, because even my LT35 doesn't have that, my G&G CM16 2.0 don't have that, none of my Glocks have that. I just think it's a cool function, especially for an electric gun. Yeah, so boom. So there's that, and the good thing about it is ambidextrous. Somebody correct me, fuck knows how to say that word. But so I can also change it from this side. So my lefties and righties, you will not have any problem with this gun. It's such a all-rounder. You have your magwell section right here. Move that in, and then you can remove your mag, which, to be honest, it looks harder than it is. Like, I showed it to my boy the other day, and he was like, oh, that's so difficult compared to an M4, and I was just like to him, try it yourself, and he was like, oh, I was wrong. So it does look harder than it is, trust me. You literally just slide it in, can give it a little slap if you want. If I'm on the field, I tend to do that. I'll like just line it up and then just slap the end. If I'm at home and stuff like that, I tend to just push it in, because, you know what I'm saying, because it does go in fairly easy. You could just do it if you wanted in one forward motion as well, like you can see there, and it tends to go in. What would I say? Obviously this button has to be pressed, and then you can release. You don't have to press it when inserting. What else to talk about? It has like a nice rail that has like a fold down sight. Don't know if you guys can see it. So if you want to look down the sight straight with nothing, then you can. And if you also want to have the little extra added bit, you can look down the sight through that little hole as well. So that, I feel like that's a little cool function for them to add, especially to an AEG of this format, because then you have the rounded sight, and then flipped up you've got that dotted area that you can kind of look through, which is quite cool. You know what I'm saying? Depends on what type of shooter you are. I've decided to put a sight on it, which I already speak about in another video, so please have a look on the channel, you'll see that video. And then obviously it gives you this front sight as well that you can kind of line up with. Like, they are useful. What I would say to anybody who's on a budget and trying to buy this gun is, don't buy a sight. Like, the gun shoots so well that as long as your eyes can track BBs very good, you're fine. You don't need a sight. I've just been extra to put a sight just because I wanted to get to a stage where all my guns was where I wanted them to be, and for this gun I did want a sight just in case there was a day that I wanted to use this gun as my primary. I'd have the ability to have the sight on it, because I think, especially in like places like CQB, at times it is nice to have a sight because it just gives that extra accuracy. Whereas on skirmishes, I like to watch my shot a bit better as opposed to look down a scope, because it's a bit harder to tell where the distance is a bit further, whether you've hit your target or not through a sight. So yeah. What else can I show you guys? So it has a charging handle, which I think is pretty cool. Right in the middle, ambidextrous again, so you can do it from the left hand side if you want. You can do it from the right hand side. Charge is pretty nice. That charging handle is functional, so it does allow you to have access. Don't know if you can see because it is black. It does allow you to have access to your hop up, which is in that unit right there, and then you can turn it either left or right. It's not very hard to do. Just trying to make sure you guys can see what I'm seeing. So yeah, you either push it down or up in that little section there. I'm gonna leave it roughly where it is because I kind of liked where it was shooting before. So yeah, that's what we're gonna do to it. And then what else can I show you guys? Obviously the stock does fold down. You click this little button here, so we'll show you that. Click this little button here, then it releases, and then you can kind of fold it around, and then you can utilize it on its side like that, which is pretty cool because you can basically turn it into like a SMG type gun, and then when you're ready you can pull it back, and then you've got a rifle style gun all over again. Do you kind of get what I'm saying? Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. I'm telling you, it's why I've made this my secondary, because I just feel like it's reliable, and if my rifle ever breaks down, I have got something that turns into a rifle, and if I want, I can just wear it like this and use it as a little SMG, and the accuracy is so good and the performance is so amazing. Whereas the Gen 3 gearbox, another amazing thing I found out about this gun was it has a quick change spring. So if you guys can see down in the end, if my camera will allow it to be shown, I literally just push something in there, turn it, and I can pull that directly out. I'm not going to do it right now because I really like how I've set the spring, whereas I feel like often if you don't set the spring back properly, there's a good chance you could find yourself in a position where your gun is just not firing how you want it to. So yeah, so we'll leave that there. FPS, I did do a little FPS checker on it earlier, and I found that it did bounce around a little bit, but I found the range was roughly about 329 FPS, between 274, 278, somewhere around there, 272 at times. But the 329 mark was the top end, and I was shooting, I think I was shooting 2.5s, 2.8s, and 3.0s at the time. So that's something to keep in mind. I am gonna probably do another test with 2.0s just to see if it does do what they advised on the website, which is 330, I believe they said it does. Which is, to be honest, I'm happy with this 329, to be real. And or even at the lower end of 2.4, I'm still happy there, because 274 at 2.7, call it 270 FPS, because of the accuracy on it, you're alright. If I'm using this as an SMG, of course I'm alright. 2.7, and it's accurate and it's reliable. And if I I'm gonna show you a few other things, because obviously you're probably like, where does the battery sit if the stock folds? I've got one of these, but that's just because I lost my bolt. Normally there's a bolt here, I lost mine. Well, technically I bought it second hand, so I didn't lose it. The person before me lost it. So a bolt would normally sit in that little section right here. You guys can see straight through it. But obviously I'm using a screw, and then obviously your battery is down here. Normally it would show up as I think it's called a Dean's connector, as you guys can see. It would show up like this. But what I've done is attached an attachment, just because I like the ability to use it with different styles of batteries, and where this battery has this connection, and this is what I call my testing battery, I like to just ensure that, how do you want to put it, like it does what I want it to do. I don't think this battery has any charge though, so give me 2 seconds, peeps, just to make sure, because I'm not sure if this does have battery. Yeah, you see this one's dead, so give me 2 seconds. So I actually want you guys to hear what this bad boy sounds like. You might as well, seeing as we're here. Don't let me while out, my demons were close. Take account for your actions, you reap what you sow. And it is a beautiful gun, affordable as well. Like a lot of my people recently who've seen me with this, they've been like, how much did you spend on it? How much did you spend on it? And all I've really done is I bought it second hand really cheap, because it was a rental gun, and I basically just put some work into it, spent some money, changed the hop up, updated a few things on it, changed the hot rubber. Like, do you get what I'm trying to say? Where a gun's been beat up in rentals, you know, you want to kind of just bring it back. Gave it a full-blown clean up, greased everything, because bits had started rusting. Like, it's now a beautiful gun, but brand new. It can be bought for, I think I see it the other day in my local gun shop for about £190, which for me is very cheap. Like, for what you get a gen. Like, if I was somebody else who was trying to build something like an AK, or get something that would bring you into the market and keep you competitive over the course of, say, the next five years in Airsoft, I would buy one of these, because near enough everything on it you can upgrade, which isn't the case with every single AEG. Some you have limits, and then other thing is the weight on it's nice. You do actually have a top rail. You don't have a side rail in terms of like stuff that you can mount, but I always say to people, like, for example, these two areas are mountable sections. So I was saying to my boy the other day, I think what I'm going to do is mount some rails here, and then if you genuinely think about it, these are also mountable sections. So depending on what mounting systems you use, you could have rails at the bottom if you really wanted to. So between you guys and me, if you see this at a later date with a little small stock on it, don't judge me, just because that's actually a good point. Like the GNG, I have a GNG that has rails on it, but I know I'm not going to want rails because I don't want to attach anything to that gun. But this I do want to attach things, so I think I've just given myself another task. I think I should mount the rails from the G&G on here, which gives me the ability to have a stock, because I think this would have stock. Oh my gosh. But yeah, so that comes off like that, and then it obviously slots in. Fitting the battery isn't too hard. Let me see if I can do it today, because this is a much bigger battery than the standard battery. But I'm going to show you, it's still not a mission to do. Like, it does take a bit of fiddling at times, because even me, when I first got it, I was like, how the hell does this thing go back together? But hopefully today I don't make myself look like an idiot. You probably shouldn't do it with your stock folded around, but if you notice, it just slots in. You have to make sure your battery is lined up, so maybe I shouldn't do it that way. Give me 1 second, because there's a way that I do it where it sits nicely with this bigger battery. So I think it's like that. There we are. I think it is that way. Oh, maybe not, because it's moving, making this look a bit harder than it actually is. But yeah, there you are. Like I said, it's not very hard to do. It's just where I've used a slightly bigger 11.1 battery, it is going to be a bit more harder than, say, fitting a little thin crane style battery like this. I would, another thing, people will probably be like, what do you use out of these guns? If you're using it as like a secondary, go for a 7.1. Go for something good like an ASG battery, because obviously that is the brand by the gun, so it's kind of what I went for that. But if you are using this as a primary, probably go 11.1, because it's a 3.0 gearbox, Gen 3 gearbox, so you might as well give it what it deserves. Do you get what I'm saying? It's like driving a turbo with shit fuel. Like, you don't want to do that. But yeah, so we're gonna flick it on semi. Like I said, the mags are not loaded, so you ain't gotta worry about that. So we're gonna flick it on semi just so you can hear it fire. Very responsive. Look at normally what you'd get is damages. I've used rifles that cost £500-600 when I first came into airsoft, and after a couple quick click, you've broken something, and it's because the trigger system in there cannot keep up. Whereas if you listen, still going, and look at the trigger speed that I'm going at. Do you get what I'm saying? It can keep up. Do you get what I'm saying? And then on auto, this thing is just a beauty. It is just a beauty. And you know the thing I like about this, yeah? For me, I like the sound of this compared to my LT. I love my LT97. It's my most favorite gun in the stock. But what I will say about this bad boy is, for me, I prefer the sound of this compared to my LT97, because I feel like with my LT97, it sounds like, how would I explain it? It sounds like on auto, it sounds like one of my gears is slapping one of something else too hard. Realistically, I've used the LT for quite a few games. That's not the case. That's not what's happening. I've opened it a couple times and checked just to make sure the bearings aren't wearing away or stuff like that, and it's perfectly fine. But the sound it gives out is a very it's more
the ego tripping. Think different and let go of the ego tripping. Think different and let go of the ego tripping. Think different. Think different. Working 6 to 2 to pay some ish that's overdue. Meditate on past actions, ish I had to do. Working 6 to 2 to pay some ish that's overdue. Meditate on past actions, ish I had to do. Private company feeding us GMO foods, they wanting us trapped. My young boy just came home for a booting, that young nigga tapped. Can't be slipping when I'm puffing on a potent, silent but I stay strapped. Gave her wood, now she talking about family tree, you know it ain't that. Ain't got time for the bad bees, dog, I got money on mine. Watch my chain too long, had me nervous, I put money on your mind. The Cali be potent, that girl is a bogus, I can't risk my seed. My heart too low, took L's like fug. Big slime soon free. Had to drop cause the fans they keep asking. You drop trash, had the fans all laughing. Disappeared and I brother grown, we conversate, I ain't preaching. Roll some loud, talk some life, hold his mouth when I'm speaking. I had trauma about my childhood plus how I grew. I had trauma about my exes plus things they do. Ayy, ayy, look what I did to shine, ayy, ayy.